How much does a chimney cost? Nothing. It's on the house. You're welcome. Hey, so we're dealing with a big storm right now. Little halt on the off-grid build for now. We're going to be at it hopefully tomorrow, the next day. But for right now, I'm just going to do a little bit of a different video for you today. So welcome back to MBF. If you're new here, welcome to MBF. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about weed and reap. So I'll give you a little backstory on why we're here, how we're here, all that. So a little over 3 years ago, I was released from the military, had my entire colon removed, got med released. So we had to start completely over in our life, right? So what we did was we weren't sure what we were going to do going forward. So we decided, all right, let's try starting a homestead where we can be more self-sufficient, self-reliant, take care of ourselves and all that. So a year before that happened, before the release happened, the career was going well too. So this is a really big deal. So like the career was progressing nicely and then this just caught up. That's a whole other story altogether. There's 2 kittens around me. So if you hear them, our 10-year-old cat, black cat, died, named Black, like just 3 weeks ago. It was pretty sad. Totally sucks. So we got 2 new kitties the next day. Anyways, they're running around me. So if you hear that, that's what that is. So they may even be up here at some point. So anyways, back to the story. So just over 3 years ago now, I get med released in the Army. We wanted to find a new path for our life, had to find a new path for our life. So we were living in Ontario on base at the time. So we bought 70 acres down east coast Canada, in New Brunswick. That's where I'm from. So we bought land down there so we could homestead on it, build ourselves a homestead from scratch, right from nothing. So a year before that, we had a camper, so we took it off a campsite, put it on the property, and then we went down that year, got a few things ready before we went down there to live there. So the next year when we got there, we at least had our camper on the site and our 70 acres of land that had a spring on it and, you know, a driveway through it because it had been cleared before and, you know, somewhere to start, right? So we had planned on hunting, fishing, stuff we already did all the time, been doing for years, and some way to sustain ourselves if we never had an income coming in, because I really need to be control entirely of my timings with, not just with my entire colon coming out, but there's a lot of other issues along with that. That was just a big one that ended the whole thing. I mean, life is crazy like that. We actually have a video on that if you want to know why. It's kind of an older one. Maybe I'll update that sometime, but you can check it out up here. Did that a couple years ago. But cats are biting my feet. But anyways, so we had that all set up and then we started filming. We're like, okay, we're going to build our house. At least if we build our house, we can take care of ourselves, have a house to live in. We had acres of blueberries on the property, lots of maple trees. That's why the name of the channel is Mapleberry Farm. And so we could at least do that. We had lots of maple syrup, blueberries, lots of hunting, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? So anyways, we thought right away, you got to build our place. So we decided to build our place. We did it. We moved in there. We were off grid for a long time and we started sharing things on YouTube. Before we got there, we started sharing a little bit before we went there from the military base. We started sharing our story so that when we got there, okay, we got a few people here, they're invested in the story, we're gonna share it. Anyways, we didn't realize how hard that was gonna be because we were not like, you know, a lot of other channels, and this is not bashing any channels or nothing like that. It's not saying, it's just that everybody's story is different. But ours wasn't like, hey, this is a dream home or anything. It was totally a home out of necessity. So we were gonna build our home so we could take care of ourselves because our careers were over. So, or my career was over. And she was, Ashley owned a cleaning business at the time and we'd clean on base. She had slowed down at that point because we had Sam. So she was stay-at-home mom, taking care of her, raising her, all that stuff. And she was doing like painting some furniture and stuff like that on the side to make some money. She can kind of make money. She's a hard worker, so she can just make things happen. So anyways, we started sharing our story and we were super raw about it. We did very little research about it. We just, a tiny bit here and there. We had no internet or anything, so it's not like we could search things out. We were just sharing it pretty raw, what we were doing. The ups and downs were actually really tough. The transition into civilian life was really hard. Just wasn't used to it. It's kind of inexplicable to say how hard it was, like just mentally, to get used to it, let alone, you know, you're living in a trailer, fetching water all the time, you know, doing all those things, regular things while you're building your house with a 3-year-old or 3 at the time, and me and Ashley. And Ashley hadn't done that kind of thing before. But more than anything, like the mental side of just a totally different life after being in the Army and then now not. So it's totally different, the camaraderie and all those things that are there. And you know, your life's so different, right? So, and then it's gone. So it's a new thing. So what I'm saying is when we were sharing the YouTube, it was pretty raw. And anyways, we get sharing it and we weren't even sure what we wanted to do. We were just like trying to make sure we could sustain ourselves. But anyways, a lot of ups and downs, We were never fully committed to the game and all this stuff. And then we would be, wouldn't be, wanted to just like, let's not do it anymore. Anyways, we decided, I think the end of 2019, we're like, I think we had about 16,000 subscribers, a little more than that, but just bit me in the foot, a little stinker, or scratch me. We thought, let's just start putting out a bunch of content and sharing what we're doing here. Like, you know, we were over a year and a half after the Army life. Things were you're starting to feel a little more normal again. Like, you know, just after such a big life change, such a big deal. But we were sharing, anyways, real quick, we were sharing the story primarily. What we were sharing for is that life isn't over after a major setback. So that's what we were sharing. We were just sharing for anybody, no matter what anybody else was facing, that life's not over when you face something bad like that. So we were just sharing. And sometimes maybe we weren't the best example of everything because, you know, sometimes we weren't in the greatest mood during the first year and a half, maybe 2 years. But anyways, we thought, I remember December 2019, I was like, man, I'm just going to start putting out a bunch of more videos, whatever it is. I'll just put out, what do I look up? I'm just going to start putting it out. Anyways, one of the first things I put out was a video called, How Much Do YouTubers Make? And it was based off like the homesteading community. First off, this is based off totally public information. So I just went off of Social Blade, which is a public forum, and I shared, you can look up whoever you want on there to see what they're roughly making. It's not a bad guess. Sometimes you could be close. Sometimes you could be way off, honestly, because they're not bad, but some things definitely would factor in what they're making. There's a pretty big, broad thing. We used to base it off us, and I'm like, no, that's not what we're making at all, right? And then other times it would be pretty close. Anyways, I made a video like that, and one of the channels we mentioned at the time was Weed 'em and Reap. And Weed 'em and Reap, they actually came over on that channel. That's why I wanted to mention this today. We were floating around 16,000 subscribers for a long time there, had been on YouTube for a year and a half or so. Or no, we had been on YouTube, I think, 2 years at the time. But we had been like building on the property out of the Army for a year and a half. So that's kind of when our YouTube really started, was like May 2018, somewhere around that, really. Because we weren't even there, right? I was still in the Army till May 2018. So we were floating anyways near the end of 2019, and we put that video out, and you know, got a pretty good response for it, like considering at the time we had been floating for so long, we weren't going anywhere. Didn't really know what to do. We didn't research it much. We had no internet, like I said, so we couldn't just sit at home. We had to drive quite a ways, like just to upload a video and then come home. Like it was a while before we had the internet to be able to upload. And then when we did have internet, it was so slow. It was legitimately ridiculously slow because we were way out in the bush. So, and there was just the only provider we could have just wasn't that. Trying to get through trees didn't work that well. So Weed 'em and Reap showed up anyways and commented because we had tagged them at the title of it, saying how much YouTubers make. And you see the comment here, they put it in the comment, I'm still amazed at how well we do. This year we're planning on doing solar and other things to make our place more sustainable. And seriously, we couldn't have done it at all without YouTube subscribers watching our videos. And that's totally true. I totally agree with that. Like now, man, you can't without the people. And I've said that many times on the channel. If you ever want to reach out, this is what got me. If you ever want to reach out and chat, I'm an open book and happy to help anybody else succeed at this. So I'm like, all right, I'll reach out. So I just reached out and hit her up with an email and said, hey, you said, you know, anybody wanted to reach out? Here I am reaching out. So I reached out, Danelle got back to me and basically gave me kind of like a checklist kind of a deal to just to go through and kind of help improve your channel. So it was like making a trailer, you know, engaging with people, just some stuff like that. And, you know, it wasn't a big, long list, but it was some things that really helped us, you know, just get motivated. It was motivating just to get here, come back, and say, hey, reach out. I'll help you out. Instead of being, you know, snooty and stuck up about it, or just being standoffish or mad that you tagged them or anything like that. Because we've had some bad experiences with some. Most are no experience really, which is fine. But, you know, a bad experience is just kind of weird. I mean, like, anybody could basically ask me anything and I'll answer whatever. Like, I'm an open book about it. We're not trying to hide things. We just don't really care. We're very laid back, like, very chilled out people, so it doesn't bother us none. But anyways, so many people aren't so willing to talk about it. Like, they kind of hold it close and don't really want to say, like, it's a big secret or something, right? A lot of different things. Anyways, you know, just maybe somebody asking, what camera do you use? I've had so many people ask us what camera to use. I'm like, an iPhone, right? You wouldn't believe that's all we ever use. So iPhone is a good camera. But a lot of people don't want to talk about that when they're asked. That I hear from people coming to us and asking. Anyways, our channel was floating and she legitimately told us, just as a disclaimer, she doesn't actually know I'm making this video. I just wanted to say how much it's been a great help to us, But the checklist was great. I know I'm kind of repeating myself. I just kind of do it raw. But the checklist was great. But what was really cool was her reaching out and saying, hey, here, I'll help you out. I'll help you succeed. Do these things. Like, that was really cool and it meant a lot. So we did them. And that year that we did them, we were at 16,000 subscribers, and that was in December 2019. By January, we were up to 20. And then by the end of that year, we were up to, you know, that within that calendar year, we were at 70,000 by the same time in January the next year. So we went up 50,000 that year. And that was with her helping and then us, you know, applying ourselves and doing the work. It wasn't just because we sat there and be like, oh, great information. Or I'm like, hey, Danielle, why don't you just give me a shout out? Or, hey, just do this. No, none of that happened. We just did the work. She said, hey, this will help. You know, she never said, she just basically, it was just nice to do that. So we did the work, get up to 70,000. Started the next year, like, there's a whole other story. I ended up, like, just doing some stupid things and we deleted like half our channel. So we like slowed down our growth this year big time. So we're at 86,000 or something. So help us get to 100. We probably would have been there if it wasn't for me being crazy, right? So we deleted basically half our channel, put it back out there just on bad advice and just being crazy and letting stupid comments and stupid outlooks on life get to us. So what are you gonna do, right? I can be crazy sometimes, so that's it. Anyways, moving forward with that. Here we are coming to the end of 2021. We're a little over 3 years since leaving the military. Still doing very great. We have a great community here and all that. But I just wanted to say thanks to Weed and Reap for being so cool about it and helping us out and all that when we did that. So that was really cool. If you don't know who Weed and Reap is, go check them out. They have a very big channel, doing very well. They do farm life in the city, really cool. A lot of you probably know about them anyways. But if you're new here, we're building a new off-grid homestead because since we've sold that property that we're at now, we now have another property. We had to sell it for medical reasons. So I have to be closer, you know, for medical. Our child is actually closer for a lot of, you know, it's good for a kid to be closer to other stuff, but we're still remote. We're just not way remote like we were. We were 2 hours away, now we're like an hour away. So not too bad. We're building a new homestead up in the mountain. We got a nice acreage there, spring in the property. We're building a cabin now, but this time we're able to build the whole place up exactly how we want it before we stay on it permanently. We're still doing the maple syrup. We have lots of berries in the property. The hunting's still good. Gonna still live a self-sustaining, self-sufficient life. That's still the plan. The plan hasn't changed. And now we're to be able to do it more happily and like, you know, the transition has happened and you know, you still miss the Army and military life sometimes, but nothing like how tough it was at the start. So things are going great now. Our family is great. We're really happy. We're super laid back, super chilled out, super fun people. So like that, we like to be silly. So don't take us too serious. If you're watching us, if you're new here, if you start to watch us and see like, you know, how we can be. It's totally in good fun, chilled out. We call each other names and just be silly and crazy and fun, but it makes the days go great. We love each other. Relationship is unbelievable. We have a great thing going. So, but I just wanted to say thanks to Weed and Reap. for what they did. And Janelle, she specifically was who I was talking to at the time, but you know, thank the whole family. They're all part of it. So thank them. Really cool to reach out, helped us a lot. And again, thanks for being here. And if you're interested in following us along, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all that stuff. Hit all the links that are going to pop up next, right? Subscribe down below, hit the next video, the playlist, watch everything. And help us get to 100,000. We're getting close. Let's get there before the end of the year. I know that's maybe a tall task to ask, but I know how this works. Once we get moving again, I deleted videos. They're back up. There's no foolishness going on anymore. I don't listen to everybody here anymore, all the people that get mean to us and all that. We don't care. We just don't care anymore. So we just push forward. There's always going to be people. You could show puppies, kittens. People are going to be mad and angry and not like stuff, right? But we keep things fun and entertaining. So anyways, just rambling. I'm out. We'll see you in the next one.